Salutations, salutations, everyone. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you would enjoy this conversation because I'm looking forward to having this with my next guest. So you know I have to make sure that I had on my bra so I can present you another episode, another conversation. And this is a full circle moment for me, which I am so privileged to have because this next guest was actually my first interview that I've had since I've started doing interviews on my channel. He was my first interview, and now he's my first return guest. After 70 interviews, he's my first return guest. So that's a blessing to have that full circle moment. So I'm appreciative to, having him not only just here on my platform, just also a part of my life as, one of my favorite cousins. I just really am, privileged to have him on. So I really want to thank him so much for being a part of this journey with me. So without further ado, I'm going to present to you and introduce to others my cousin, Gresten Weeks. Here we go. And there go my cuz right there in the building. Gresten Weeks in the building once again. Big Russ. Yeah, so now I can ask you, how you been doing?
I'm doing great. I can't complain about anything at all.
Absolutely. Because who will listen anyway? Who will listen? Yeah, but so how was this? Okay, because I mentioned about this full circle moment about and just kind of having that transition of a year ago, you being my first interviewee on my platform, and now you're my first repeated guest. That full circle moment. So how does that resonate with you, honestly?
I mean, it feels great that I could be a part of your show and help you on your journey.
Yeah, yes, I appreciate that. How much of my journey have you seen so far? How much have you seen so far? I'm curious.
I haven't seen every show. I won't tell you that, but I've seen a lot.
Well, I understand that. I mean, I don't expect you to see every single show, but I'm asking for a reason. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, even though I kind of am. Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot because I want to know. Like, I'm just curious. Like, based on some of the stuff that you've seen, I want your feedback on it. Like, give me some examples of what you can remember of you seeing, and I want you to get some feedback on it.
Well, I think, since you started out on your journey, I mean, you have made progress and, you developed a certain style that you want to have for your show and how you talk to people and the things that you've added in, and you just make it so organic,
Yeah. So, I'm glad you mentioned about that. How, and so based on that, that transition, like, give me some feedback on, and I'm open to suggestions, Gresten, based on how that my transition has become. Like, do you have any suggestions on how can I, as far as my growth and how I can kind of, give it more, how should I say, give it more viewership?
Well, the only thing I can say for you is just keep doing what you're doing and keep it organic. Let it just flow. Work with it, play with it, have fun with it, and then grow with it at the same time.
Okay, thank you for that advice. But yeah, let me go back a little bit. Because I want to know, like, what particular, like I said, you can remember. I don't know if you can remember or not. What particular video have you saw that resonated with you, or that you enjoyed, and your feedback on that, if you can remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I watched a few. I watched the one with you and your mom. I think one of the pastors or something.
Okay.
A couple of your friends. I can't remember, but I mean, you're doing so great at it. Like I said, I mean, there's really no feedback to give because as you grow, as your show grows, your viewership grows, and it becomes more of a reality to you every day. The more you do it, the better you get.
True. So one of the things I definitely need to work on, I've been working on for the last couple of weeks, is my background, because there's some people that said it was a little distracted, and I get it. I'm working on that, but I mean, if y'all still, if y'all want to be so, critical about that. I mean, y'all can, kind of raise up enough money for us just to get a green screen or something. I could work on that. I could get a green screen, and I could work from there to get a nice little background. Because the reason why I've been putting off the background, because they have options here on this StreamYard where they have backgrounds, but it gives you a halo effect. Meaning, like when you put, okay, I'll show you. If I'll show you what I'm talking about. It gives a halo effect, so it's kind of hard for me to, and I don't like that. I don't like okay, so you see here, you see how that halo effect, when I move around and it gives, yeah. See, I don't want that. I want it to have like a real like podcast, like homely type of feel, and I don't want all this going on. I don't want all this right here,
And that's what you're doing, So you keep it as you can, as far as you can, and as long as you can, till you're ready to do something different,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of the things I'm working on. I'm also working towards improving my editing, because since you've been I don't know if you noticed, ever since my first few interviews, I didn't clip them. I started clipping my interviews. So, because people don't have an attention span like that. So I try to, when I do my interviews, between like 24 to 48 hours after that, I clip them, and I'm gonna do it with yours. I'm gonna clip it, and highlight it. I do certain thumbnails, and I make sure I customize it to each point, so I can kind of bring people in. I do a little satire as well. I add like I add mess to my titles. I make them messy. To kind of do a little bit of a clickbait, so to speak. So I've been working on that, and also there's certain questions that I ask most of my guests, so I'm looking forward to asking you those questions. I didn't get to do that before, so it's like so many changes that I'm looking forward to, implementing with you, with this interview, and also a couple of segments that I've added on that you didn't get to participate in. So I'm looking forward to that, towards the end of the interview, doing that segment that I enjoy doing. So yeah, so that I'm just wanting to basically, kind of give you kind of a rundown and catch up, play catch up with you on that aspect. Yeah. So catch us up, because the last time we spoke, we had some conversation about your upbringing, and because I didn't know that you did the whole gymnastics thing, so I was fascinated with that. You talked about your fatherhood. You talked about we got into a discussion about gender roles. Talking about how the masculine role versus the feminine dynamic, and how it's so divisive, and so we got into that, so to speak. So just catch me up with what's going on with you ever since that time.
Well, since then, I've just been working, just moving in life, trying to be the best I could be, and just make life easier for me,
Yeah. How you make your life easier? What is your approach towards that?
Sometimes you need to just sit down and relax,
Mm-hmm.
As you get older, you need time for yourself, mentally and physically, Remember, I used to be a runner, but now I'm just like, it's hard for me to even go outside now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, 'cause I was never one to go anywhere anyway, but I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But how was work today, by the way? How was work?
Oh, I didn't work today. Today I'm off.
Could you call me before you was going to? I guess you're coming from somewhere else.
Yeah. I was just doing a little grocery shopping.
Oh, okay.
For work tomorrow.
Oh, gotcha. And how is work overall?
Work is work. I mean, you love it, you hate it. I mean, it pays the bills right now,
Pays the bills. So is that indication that you're not really happy where you are, or you just a means to an end at this point?
Well, right now I'm happy in every aspect of my life. I'm happy. It's just I just see things different now. It's just a cycle. We live in a cycle, and someday I want to get out the cycle, but I mean, right now I have to pay these bills, so I got to do what I got to do. I got to make sure everybody's all right, things of that nature.
So I'm curious, Gress, because you work for the federal government. You've been doing that from some years now, and I'm curious to what this is like, because just kind of give some cliff notes, because I've been trying to get into the federal government for a while now, and I know how hard it is, and trying to get into a certain position, and I do think that, I don't know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that the health benefits are better, the pay is better, there's more security. So can you give us a little bit more of, what it's like working for the federal government on your from your perspective?
Well, growing up, we always was told that you need a federal job. Federal jobs are great, and being in the federal government now, as opposed to not being in it in my earlier years, I really don't see the difference. I
You know,
really don't. It's the same thing. Private sector, you go through the same things you do in the government. It's really no difference.
you talking about as far as bureaucracy, bureaucracy of it all. You talking about that is similarities when it comes to that?
Yes, it's all the same. It's let me tell you, it's not a career. It's the same thing. You get up, you go to a job, you make your money, you do the job. Nobody cares about how you feel. They just want to know that you can do the job, and that's basically what it is.
So what about like as far as health benefits? Are they? I mean, are they more coverage? Because because here it sucks here in Georgia.
I
You know,
mean, I guess that's one of those things that would be where you are. I mean, the government, the job is the job, and the benefits are the benefits. I really can't tell the difference. I had great benefits when I was in Georgia, so I mean, I don't
uh,
really see a difference.
okay. And so you just like I said, you said it's a means to an end, and I get that too. But do you ever get to a place where you're in a position of self fulfillment? I know you're saying that you're content where you are right now, but where does the self fulfillment come in?
It's always been there.
It's always been there for you.
It's always been there. You get what you want, you live how you want, and you have a means to do whatever you want. At the end of the day, you can't worry about living paycheck to paycheck in the government or private sector. It's the same to me, and I guess it's the mentality of the person that's working the job.
Right. And so let me ask you, so with all that, like when do you see yourself retiring?
Um, Probably about 62, another 5, 6 years.
Yeah, I wish I could do it sooner. Have you thought about that? Like how you thought you wish you could do it like a little sooner if you had more financial security? Have you
Well, I've been planning, for years now. It's always been one of those things. I really didn't want to work past 55, but,
right?
you know, situations change, needs change, and, you just got to stay out there a little longer.
Yeah, because I know you have because I mean you have adult children, so they're living their lives and they're responsible for themselves at this point. But you have your home, you're a homeowner, and you travel. How often you travel though? I know you travel. I know you just came from a cruise a couple of years ago from when we last spoke. But how often do you travel?
Well, lately I haven't been traveling at all because, we've been going through these government shutdowns and stuff like that.
Yes.
60 days, 50 days.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off, but I thank you so much for bringing that up. I just remember. Can you tell me the effects of that, please?
Um, the effects was devastating for some, because,
Wow.
some people live paycheck to paycheck. And it's hard, especially if they got young kids. They give you letters to give to your creditors and everything, but people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear about what the government got going on.
Mm.
Your only responsibility is if you want to live here, you have to pay your bills.
Yeah, and so I mean, how did it affect you personally?
I wasn't affected.
Mm. Yeah, so like how about like some of the colleagues around you? Because I've heard so many people that were just like, I mean, didn't get paid for several months, and they were just like, kind of in a destitute situation. And I know, like, there were some celebrities that made efforts to um recoup, to help the people recoup some of the funds, the wages that they lost. I mean, so how did that affect the people around you?
So, well, really, it's not a loss because what happens is they just have a shutdown. You go in every day like you're working, like you're getting paid. And when the shutdown is over, you get all your money.
Yeah, but in the meantime, though, Greston, I mean, you might get all your money back, but during that time period, I mean, it does, they're not getting anything at all, in the meantime.
Well, there were situations working for the government, and like I said, even in private sector, there will be situations where you know your bank will help you out with loans and stuff like that until the money comes, and then they'll just take their money off the top. So you're still allowed to pay your bills. And I know few people I work with were doing that, and some people went took money out their TSP, so they could hold on.
And for the audience, can you please tell us what TSP stand for?
See, now you don't drop the bomb on me. I don't know. Thrift
Oh,
savings plan. It's the thrift savings plan.
okay, there you go.
Uh, it's like a 401k. It's just the government's.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
But
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, you say that you don't travel as much. I know you said because of the shutdown, you recovering from that. So, what are some of the other things that you do? Like, okay, you work every day. You on your grind. What are some of the things you do to enjoy your life? I know you say that you're not as you're not outside as much. But so, what are some of the things you do during your downtime? Give me some.
I still go to the gym. Read books, watch great movies, TV. Sometimes I go out, but most of the time I'm home. Because I'm preparing for the next wave. I don't never want to be put in a predicament where I can't sustain.
Right. That's smart. I mean, that's a smart move. Yeah, because a lot of us are, like you said, living from paycheck to paycheck. And if, that next wave come around, it's like a lot of us are not prepared, unfortunately. And transparency myself, I mean, I'm just trying to figure it all out my doggone self. I'm still trying to figure out ways to, you know, um, you know, build more financial security, but that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, so what are some of the things, like, what do you enjoy doing the most? Like, I know you said reading books. What was the last book you read?
I've been reading this book, the Book of Wisdom, Part One, Volume One.
Okay.
I've been getting self-conscious about, us as a people.
What are your key takeaways from that particular book?
Well, I'm in and out of it right now, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Explains a lot. It's not going against religion, but it's telling you about your inner self, your inner being, and how you come out your soul and stuff like that, and how to get to different places in this realm we live in. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. And so what are some of the TV shows and movies you enjoy watching right now?
Well, I just watched Polygamist.
Ah, I did a video about that.
It was great. I think it was great. I don't
Uh,
want to spoil it, but it was really good. I didn't see that coming. I watched Beauty and Black.
okay.
All the Power series.
Okay.
Yeah, all that. The Shy. I watch weird stuff.
That's not weird. I mean, those are some popular shows. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, but like I said, I just want you to kind of catch me up on, what's been going on with you. So, because when we do speak, we don't speak as often, but when we do, it's like we are kind of like, intertwined. So, I just, always enjoy our conversation. So,
I'm slow motion right now. I'm just slow motion. I'm out the way.
I can tell. So, what's your dating life like? Because I definitely want to. Because it should always be so colorful when you talk about your dating life. So, how is it now?
And there is no dating life.
No,
Nah, I'm on Do Not Disturb right now.
that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, but it's not the one. Like I said, I'm just want you to understand that there's nothing wrong with dating, because dating and relationships are two totally different things. So you can still
Yeah,
date.
I totally understand. But
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in a situation for 3 to 6 months and then, we're here and there. I don't have time for that.
You can still, like I said, but dating doesn't have to involve 5 or 6 months. Dating could just be involving you still like hanging, having that companionship, and not have no ties or exclusive ties to anyone. Dating doesn't have to be conducive to that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, once in a while I do go out once in a while, but I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it dating.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know you just, like I said, just talking about, I guess, okay, let me ask you this, and I'm going to dive into this a little bit, because I'm wondering, because I know, like, when we speak on dating and how, because I know how you got around, round and round, round you go. But, we got around. But I'm wondering, a lot of times when men, when they're notorious for, getting around, especially when you're young and you're more desirable. I mean, you're still handsome now. Don't get me, don't. Because it's still handsome now. But what I'm saying is that when you're younger, you're more out there, you have more access, and you're more desirable then. But then it seems to me a lot of men who never had commitment in mind, and they tend to let the day one woman, put them in the back burner until they're ready to just get out their system, which I hate that term, get out their system. And then when they get older, they may have a little keg around the middle, and they get a little gray, they get older, and they're not as accessible to certain women anymore. So that's when they decide they want to settle down. So I wonder, like, in your perspective, like, as a woman, like, does that make me feel any special where you feel like, oh, well, I'm ready to settle down now. I got it all out my system. I'm no longer, I don't have the desire to do that anymore because I'm older and, and sometimes more sickly, sometimes they need someone to take care of them too. So they're right there on the sidelines waiting. So I'm like, is that something that I should look forward to?
I wouldn't say look forward to it, but it's not about looking forward to it. I think you're being chosen by a man that's done it all and wants to really be with somebody. And if he chooses you, that means you're the chosen one,
But how come you couldn't do all that stuff with me? Why couldn't I? Why I gotta wait until you get, you would give, do whatever you do with all these other broads, but then you coming back to me when you're older and less desirable. That's my.
Oh, you're talking about coming back. Well, no, I'm just talking about, like, you met somebody.
Yeah.
If you met somebody at this day and time and he's a little older, he's ready for that. He's ready for that. Relationships are strange now. I know you watch social media and all this stuff with these with the it's really ridiculous what's going on out here. These women think men are supposed to take care of them and just keep them, and they don't do nothing. Like, I mean, what is that about? I don't know where that comes from, because as far as I've known, all the women in our family worked.
Yeah.
So they was never looking for a man to take care of them. I mean, that mentality is just ludicrous to me. I really don't understand that, because in today's society, we need your check, my check, and we still need another check.
Yeah, because that's the most practical thing. We're not in the Cleaver days anymore, where you could be Susie Homemaker or Stepford wife and be content. And even then, okay, let me touch on that, Gress, because even with that, you'd be surprised how a lot of these independent women, that have like this ultra feministic views on things, they actually prefer to be more submissive, and they prefer to be with a man who takes on the leadership role, because that's very important. Because just because you're a man doesn't automatically mean that you've earned that title. No, you have to earn. Hey, wait, excuse me one second, Gress. Yeah, I had to, these kids be knocking on my door. They know where I live. They know where the snacks are. So I'm like, so I have to tell them to come back later. Yeah. So they do want that, but a lot of times, a lot of these women who claim to be so independent, they don't need a man, is because I think a lot of them they have that fear instilled in them, because when a lot of women allow the man to lead and to lead their household, a lot of the men take advantage of that, and they use their leadership as a form of control. They don't know how to properly play that role, Gus. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's not a man then.
That's not right. So a lot of women, but I think a lot of us, and I do try to, I advise like other women that I had on as guests, saying like, look, I understand you're independent. Nobody's trying to take away from you being, for you being yourself. Like you, of course, you have your own identity, but don't get into the place where you are so independent. Because first of all, if you're looking for marriage, you're looking to settle down with someone, you can't be independent in a marriage. I mean, that doesn't really work too well. I mean, that's not going to end well with you. You can't be independent in a marriage. I mean, in a relationship. I mean, that's just, and I know I'm going to be considered a pick me for saying that, whatever. But I'm just saying, just realistically, you can't be independent in a marriage, right? But at the same time, I think that there has to be a level of mutual respect between both parties, between both individuals, and that's not happening here, nowadays.
So for women that's independent, what is an independent woman?
Someone. Oh, go ahead.
I know what it is, but I mean, what really is it? If you're independent, you need nothing.
Mm.
No one. But see, here you can't be an independent woman in this world and believe in what you believe in. And there's a man, it's a woman for every man, there's a man for every woman.
You think so?
I believe so, yes.
Mm.
Now, why they're not meeting and becoming one is because everybody has too many options that they think are options and they're really not.
Or certain expectations, because I'm glad you said that too, because a lot of times when you say, I mean, just based on your perspective about, there's someone for everyone, I think a lot of times we kind of conform to what our desires are in a person versus what God has aligned for us, because we always like to add God into this. I mean, and I'm oh God, and I just love to hear your perspective on this part, Grace. When they be in toxic relationships or relationships that are not in alignment,
Mhm.
always want to try to stick it out, or they want to find any excuse to stay in that situation knowing that it's not healthy, but they always want to say, well, what God put together, no man put us under. What God has put together, God didn't put it together.
Well,
That was you that was your choice.
we need to stop saying God put that together because
You know
if
how they
it's
get God
toxic,
this scripture.
if it's toxic, it's not what he put together. If you're here to be my peace, how can it be toxic? Where's my peace? And why would you fight to stay in something that you don't belong in? Fighting for the wrong things.
Can you say that louder for the people in the back? Because I don't know if they able to receive that. Because I don't know, like these
You're
people.
fighting to be in something that's not for you. That's why it's not working. That's why it's toxic. It's not supposed to be. It's
It's not.
something that you want. So here's my thing, and you know how I feel about this all the time. Women that find a good man stay with a good man.
Mm,
Women that's out here searching will never find. You can't find you can't search for what you're not looking for.
ooh. Yeah. One more time, Grace. Say that one more time.
What you're searching for, you can't find because you're not looking for what you're supposed to be looking for. You're looking for the wrong thing. If you're looking for the wrong thing, how are you going to find the right thing?
Mm-mm.
People walk past each other every day, but because he doesn't fit that preference or she doesn't fit that preference, that's not the one for you. So you take the man with all the toxicity and you take the woman with all the toxicity. And this is very toxic.
Oil and water. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, Grace. Also, you have to understand when you have certain expectations and certain standards, and as you get older, those standards are supposed to evolve with you. They're supposed to grow with you, right? But it's not very realistic to have certain standards if you're not right within yourself. You got to work towards your self healing as well. And you have a lot of people who jump from one relationship to another, thinking they finding something in that person they didn't have before. First of all, you stop comparing people to your exes, first of all. Second of all, once you decide that you're ready to explore the possibility of being with someone, or the possibility of you have to go through that healing journey, that spiritual health, journey.
Yeah.
If you don't have yeah, you don't have that within yourself, and you're still broken. You bringing those broken pieces into the next relationship, you're making them bleed.
Mhm. And like I was watching the show, like I said, it's and I don't want to tell you too much about it, but it was crazy for me because there was things in the show where, these women wanted what they wanted, but they didn't want to be with a good man because they wanted what they saw. The
Yes.
money, the glamour, the glitz, the lifestyle. So you're not looking at the person. You're looking at what they could do for you.
right. And you like an aesthetic, like you said, the optics of it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that was all good. I mean, I remember like, even, I don't even know if I even was even impressed by that because I could see maybe in your 20s, you might have that type of mindset, but you in your 30s and 40s on and above, and you still, you still maintain that type of standard, where you're only focused on the superficial and you expect to get, you win stupid prizes that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The older you get, the more your value dies.
Mm. Yeah, and can you elaborate on that, Chris?
And this is especially for women. And I hate to be critical, but you get older, you look great, but you get older, your value goes down, and you're still looking for a man of some stature to have. But you can't have that because there's a bunch of young girls out here that's going to do more than what you are willing to do. Because if
Mm,
you were willing to do it, you would have had it a long time ago. You wouldn't be at this age and this now. And it goes for men too. You wouldn't be at this now.
mm.
See what you should have had before.
Okay, and I think I think I have an example of what you're talking about. For example, when you with someone, and there's no shaming at all. This is just an example, right? When you with someone and the husband tells the wife they need to lose weight, they let themselves go, right?
Hmm.
And I don't think, and not to say, I'm not talking about those men that just really just jokes about it, and that, but they're not, they're just really kind of letting you know that you don't get too comfortable, with the weight gain or whatever. And especially now, if that man has to be the one to practice what they preach. Though you got to practice what you preach, you got to be in the gym too, you got to work out too, and if they're willing to work with you on that. And they're not trying to be controlling. They're not trying to be emotionally abusive towards you, but they're saying that you need to, lose some weight because there's some fat people out there.
Yeah, it goes vice versa though. If you have a husband that's a
Right.
gym
Well,
trainer and he
but
comes home every day and he's looking at you like, babe, you need to go in there with me.
you're right. And so, but what I'm getting at, Gus, is that you have, women that say, oh, and you look at social media too, and they're like, my husband kept telling me I need to lose weight. They, put me down, and at some point, it affects their health when because you're not being healthy about it, and it's affecting your relationship. And so when the marriage ends and it doesn't work, guess what that woman is doing? They go into the gym. That's when they decide to get right within. And I think that's what you're talking about. That's when they decide to get right and want to lose weight and want to be, a baddie at that time. But how come you couldn't do it then when your husband, why come you want to be right, or keep it right for your husband,
You listen to every other man tell you what to do at work.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He'll tell you what to do, but you won't listen to your own man.
yeah, yeah.
He's not telling you, he's asking. He's saying, hey, we could do it together.
Right, exactly. That's a difference. So yeah, so I was just saying, so I think that's I want to kind of give an example of what you was referring to.
You know
Like,
how you know why it's like that? Because women go outside every day and y'all are probably the most attacked people on the planet. Hey baby, hey baby, hey baby, hey baby. So in your mind, everybody is hollering at me, but my husband is unhappy with me. I still got it.
mm,
They will sleep with you, but they're not gonna be with you.
it's not going to be the same. Mm-mm.
They will sleep with you, but they ain't gonna be with you. And that's what women have to understand. Stop making these mistakes. Men have to do the same thing. Stop making these mistakes.
And expect the different outcomes. Yeah, So I just want to just kind of, like I said, I want to make that example. Like I said, there's no way that we're not shaming anybody. You know,
Hmm.
but we're just kind of making, trying to make some people aware of how your dynamic and how you let outside forces interfere in what you got going on that, that could have been more sustainable if you would have just listened to each other and communicate more effectively instead of just thinking, oh, you just trying to control me. You just trying to, you shaming me, or you just, you ain't got my best interest, and that wasn't true for the beginning.
If he's telling you, if he's not telling you, he's discussing it with you. Let's say discussing.
Discuss exactly. And if it wasn't any validation to what he said, then why did you end up losing the weight after the fact, after he was gone? If it wasn't, if it was something that you didn't was supposed to do. Because if that was the case, if he left, like, oh, he left me because I let myself go and I didn't lose the weight, then you should have. Why don't stay fat then? Why didn't stay fat after that?
Because she knew she wasn't gonna get nobody else.
Mm,
Oh, she would have got somebody.
yeah, yeah, but for that moment,
Yeah, but it would have never been real, and it would have never been what she had.
and I think that also ties into also the most common factor when it comes to these side chicks. When a man feels like they have these side chicks as an escape mechanism, as someone they could just have a thrill with, but not realizing that your even though you may feel like your wife is getting on your nerves, and you may have the wife, even when the wife is providing a solid foundation, you feel like you still have to go elsewhere. You got to outsource to that sideline hoe, but
Um,
that side chick is not privy to what that wife has to deal with. There's a totally different interaction. That's my point. My point is that the side chick think they could do such a better job at taking care of this person, and they can do a better job at giving them what they need. But what you give them other than sex and he's funding your lifestyle too. So it's like all that money and all that energy you could have put into your marriage, you put into something that's not even sustainable.
mhm.
And for what?
I mean, right now people are some about money, some ain't. They just sleeping with each other now. It's just
That's it.
control. You know what I'm saying? He looked good. I met
Yeah.
him last night. She looked good. I met her last night. And then you put her on a pedestal like she's somebody great. No, no.
Yeah, right. And it's like I don't, and it's like I don't understand, like and I was telling my last interview, shout out to Devin Collins, we was talking about how he has he's been married to the same person for over 20 years, great, family dynamic and everything. But I was wondering, I asked him, as far as his perspective on, do you think that marriages nowadays are more transactional? So can you tell me what you think?
Well, from what I see, no, marriage is not transactional.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so at all. If they're married, they're there for a reason.
Yeah, transactional.
So why would you say transactional?
Because nowadays, it seems like to me, like people get married, in order to, for one, to have sex more freely without feeling like without feeling like they're sinful. That's one thing. Another thing is having more stability, having more security, but not really being in love. That's what I mean by that transactional, but
I
not.
know, I get what you're saying, but I don't think transactional goes in marriage. For me, I don't think so. But
Okay.
these relationships that's together, these people, that's transactional.
Mm,
Take you out to eat, we go home, we sleep together. You go to your place, I go to mine.
okay.
You know
So
what? That's transactional.
okay.
Now, marriage is when they're building each other and they're building a foundation for them to have, and making each other better. That's how it should be. That's what it should be. But I wouldn't put transactional on marriage. The people that's dating and my girlfriend, my boyfriend, that's transactional. If
Mm,
I if I got to give you something all the time for you to come spend time with me, that's transactional.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Hmm.
instead of doing that, why even know her name? You might as well go ahead and do what they've been doing. Just pay her, have your fun, and go on about your life.
Start your business. Right, right. I get it. Okay.
I
I
mean,
get
what we doing? Let's call it what it is.
And that's the thing about it. Exactly. And I really understand where you're coming from, because I really am a stickler for that as well. Just be honest about your intentions. Be clear about your intentions. Don't fake the funk. Be
Hmm.
clear about your intentions. If you want just a casual thing, platonic or whatever, monogamous, just be clear about your intentions with that person, and give that person an opportunity to let you know where they stand with you. Don't give them
Hmm.
that choice, but don't be deceptive about it. But by the way, do you believe monogamy is natural?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
do?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Totally, it just like I said, it's always about the person and where they stand at that moment in time. You know, you say you're getting married at 23. This is who you want to be with. This is your high school sweetheart. You meet somebody at the job after a divorce, and last kid going to college. He seems like the best person for you. He seems like the best person for you. He pays attention to you. She pays attention to you. Vice versa. So yeah, it's just about finding the right person for you, somebody that you could deal with, somebody that doesn't make you insane or crazy.
right. Oh yeah, that's the most important thing. But let me ask you, Gus. I don't know if you've have you ever listened to anything that Kevin Samuels has said? You ever heard of Kevin Samuels and some of his viewpoints?
Yeah, and he used to tell the truth.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say because I'm like a lot of people couldn't stand him. They felt like his death was his karma, and I'm just like, I'm not saying I agree with everything he said, but his talking points were spot on. And a lot of times we are not, especially as women, they weren't ready to hear, or they wasn't ready to hear the real hard truth. So I was curious as to whether or not you have
He
heard.
was spot on for me because he said a lot of things that made a lot of sense, and he said the only thing women are true to is their own emotions and their feelings,
Yes.
and it's the truth because if you got a good man at home, why are you entertaining other men? Why are you letting people slide in your DMs and all that stuff and talk to you? Hey, pretty lady. Why?
I don't know, to make them feel more like, some insecurities, because we as women, we are naturally insecure. And like, no matter who you talk to, no matter what level of success they're in, there's still some level of insecurity there.
Um,
And it's judgment.
I get to this point all the time, and I say this, and I watch some of the women I know that grew up. If you didn't have that father, that uncle, that grandfather, yeah, 9 out of 10 times you're gonna be insecure
Yeah, yeah.
because that father makes you feel like the princess you are from a child. You know, um, that father shows you how you should be treated, how a man should act around you. Some men they marry with wives and daughters, and you will hear a woman say, "Well, he pay attention to his kids, and I'm happy about that. But what about me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What about you? He's there every day with you,
Right.
and he's trying to make sure the kids are good. Ain't that what he should be doing?"
Yeah, I think to me, I think that's there should be a balance there. But I get what you're saying. There should be a balance there. Because to me personally, like if I have a child with someone and we're still together, I would make sure that my husband is good. But I mean, my child is going to be good regardless. But I think there's certain times where the husband or the spouse takes precedence at certain
Mm-hmm.
times. That's just
Mm-hmm.
that's just my viewpoint. You know.
When the kids go to sleep, or when the kids are up, we should both be
Oh yeah.
into the kids.
Yes. Yes. I
You know,
agree.
and that's where a lot of the breakdown is. Just being in the house and paying bills and living there with kids don't mean you're a mother or a father.
Yeah. There's a lot in
Doing
between.
nothing with them. I mean, why be there? You ain't doing nothing. You're not teaching them nothing.
Right, because a lot of men, mostly men have that type of attitude where all they got to do is provide financially in the home, and that's they're doing their part, and it's so more than that.
I beg to differ. That's the narrative that's been painted to us over our lifespan. But there's a lot of fathers out here, been there from day one and still there.
That's what I'm
Work,
saying.
work,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. There's some men that don't. There's some men that feel like I work, I work and I provide, I pay the bills, and so I'm just sit,
There's
I'm.
that Washington fences, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But let me ask you, Gress. So with all that we discussed just so far, what are some of the things that you instill in your son? Growing up as a man, and then with some of the values that you instilled in your daughter as she became a woman.
The same thing. Don't disrespect yourself and don't let nobody disrespect you. You walk as a lady. You walk as a woman that's confident about herself. You know, there's no reason for you not to be confident about anything you do. And my son, the same way. You have to have your confidence up here because you didn't come from something that was broken, you know?
Mm,
And, you know, you had your mother, you had your father, you had your aunts, uncles, uh, brother, sister, you know how we are. You know, we everybody come in, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Big family. Everybody's here. So there's always somebody for you to be there with you and help you. You know, we all grew up that way. So you know what I'm saying? Like when you have that nurturing family, you know, how could you go wrong?
True. I agree. I agree. And so now, can you tell me, give me your perspective on just based on what you just said about how you instill so those values in your children. How was it like growing when you grew up? You know, as I think, was your father present? I know your mom was. He
Hmm.
was.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that affect, like, the evolution towards how you were taught to navigate through life and dating, and how you navigate through relationships versus how it is now with your children, and how was there a difference there?
Um, there was a difference because, some good, some bad. But I start with I know right from wrong. I know how I want to be treated and I know how to treat somebody.
Hmm. Hmm.
Is what you expect. You know, if you're putting this out in bad energy, what do you think you're gonna receive?
Mm.
So it's more of a wrong or right thing. You know what you're doing is wrong. You know, nobody beat on your sister, so why would you beat on somebody else's sister?
And for what?
You know,
Because you're
nobody
angry.
called your brother. Nobody talked about your brother bad and called him gay or whatever. So why would you talk about somebody else's brother?
Facts.
What you put out is what you receive. So if you're receiving that, that means you put it out.
Okay, so basically, bottom line, Weston, you're saying that the way you attract certain people based on your energy, based on your vibration level, you
It's
know
always about your energy.
yes. And so now, how does that fit into your spiritual journey, if you have one?
Well, I mean, if your energy is bad, it won't be around me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you don't see a sunny day on a rainy day, then you got bad energy. You should
Mm.
always see sunny days. Always. When you wake up, some people I wonder how you wake up angry.
Mm.
You should be happy already. You woke up.
Mm.
Let's start with that. Think about the people that didn't wake up, went to bed angry, died angry. You know
Mm.
what? I wake up like that. All right, yeah, here we go. Let's go. You know, you have to be grateful that you got another day on this earth. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, life is reflection. You reflect what you want, and the energy that you give out, you'll receive back.
Yes, I agree too. I agree. And if you don't receive it back, then they're not a part of your journey. They're in your life for a reason and for a season. But it gets to the point where they're not meeting you meeting you where you are. Then you got to respectfully depart. Part ways.
You have to depart. You already learned what you needed to learn,
Yes.
or was taught what you need to be taught. You
Yeah.
got what you got. It's time to move on. You don't keep nothing around. You know, if you already read the book, right, and somebody else want to read it, well, hold on to it. You ain't doing nothing with it.
I like that. Yeah. You better. Yeah. You better preach.
I'm
Mm.
telling you, that's it. I mean, it's time for it to go. It's not supposed to be here no more. You got to stop holding on to things.
Yes. Absolutely.
You
Yes.
got to
Yeah.
let it go. I know that's your favorite sweater, but I mean, hey, you ain't wore it in 2 years.
Yeah. Let it go. Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to let go of certain things. Right. Yeah. That's hard to let go.
See,
Yeah.
that is the analogy of letting things go. It doesn't have to be your favorite sweater. It could be that man, it could be that woman.
Yes.
Right for the last year, there's no fixing. We're not going to keep trying to fix something. It's just not right. It's not going to be right. It's not going to work. So somebody got to get up and say, hey, you know what? I can't do this with you.
Mm.
You know, it's time for me to move on.
And
Okay?
yeah, and with that being said, Greston, when you say it's time to move on, I want to kind of segue into something here because I want to know, as in the space that you're in right now, and you're saying that you're not really interested in dating right now. You in this, you're content in the space that you're in. So can you just give me an idea, if you have it right now, if you give me an idea of how it looks for you moving forward as far as you being content where you are? Where do you see yourself, you know, moving forward? Like, where do you go from here? That's what I'm going to say. Where do you go from here? Are you looking, okay, let me just put this out. Are you looking for love? Are you, let me give me more about your journey right now as far as your job, your dating life. Are you looking for love? Are you, where you are, within your family life, and just in general, your journey overall? Like, where do you go from here?
So here it is. Remember what I said before? You can't look for something that ain't for you. What's for you will be for you. You don't have to look.
Absolutely.
You just have to be ready and present when it approaches you, when it comes into you. You know, you got to be. So if you're dealing with this person and this person, when that person comes to you, you ain't going to be ready because you got all this other stuff going on. Somebody, you got to sit back and wait for what's supposed to be yours. And I mean that. Just sit back and wait. It's going to fall right in your lap.
Mm.
So, I mean, I'm not looking for anything, you know. I mean, I could go out, meet a bunch of girls, call a bunch of them. I mean, but that's not what I'm doing right now. You know, I'm just sitting back right now. You know.
That, yeah, you Russ. So, so let me know, like I said, well, can you discuss with me, like, in the meantime, in between time, I know how I love, because you always had this energy anyway. You always been like cool, calm, collective. You always been like just go where the wind blows. You don't caution the wind. You always been that type of person. So moving forward, Russ, give us the audience, you know, your level of contentment. How do you keep that? And where you looking to go with that? Where you see yourself going with that?
Well, I mean, just being content is just one of the things that everybody should be content until they're not. And if you feel you need to make changes, you make changes at the time or whatever you feel like you need to make a change in. But
Right.
I wake up happy. I go to bed happy. You know, my happiness is my peace. My peace is my happiness. And as long as I got those, I'm gonna be all right. We all gonna be all right. You just got to think about your peace, and that clarity that you get from the peace is what helps you in your everyday life, everyday struggles. I mean, we all go to work, we all deal with people we don't like, but hey, if you're at peace, it doesn't bother.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, it shouldn't bother you, right? And I don't blame you at all. But now, let me ask you this. Now, do you believe that there's such thing as toxic positivity, and how do you approach that?
Toxic positivity.
Yeah, because there is such thing, and because people gonna think I'm negative Nancy when I say this, and I'm not trying, but there are times where when you want to impose a level of positivity where it doesn't need to happen at that moment, because there's certain moments in our lives where you go through something. The first thing I understand that it's always like the end of the tunnel. I get that, but at that moment, I believe that you have to allow the person to hurt. You got to allow the person to process pain before they get to the healing process. And a lot of people want to skip over that. They don't. They want to skip over the process.
Mm-hmm.
Putting in the work. So that's why if you do believe there's such thing as toxic positivity.
No, I don't.
I see more on.
I don't. No. It's I really don't think you could put the two together. I mean, but I guess you can. That's why I was getting ready to say elaborate to me. But
I use that example.
yeah, if it's toxic, how do you get the positivity?
Right, but again, you have to. That's why you have to allow the pain you have to process the pain. So people want to bypass that. Like I said, they want to rush to forgive someone, or they want to rush and sweep things under the rug instead of focusing on
Problem.
hands on, right? Focusing on, facing it head on.
Hmm. Well, I mean, with that being said, I think everybody should deal with what they have to deal with before they get into anything, because you're not giving a person 100% of yourself if you only carry 50% of yourself,
Hmm.
60% of yourself. You should be at 100 when you're trying to date anybody. You should already be at that point because nobody wants to broken you.
Yeah, it shouldn't. You shouldn't, and that's not something you should ever accept.
Nobody wants to fix you. They only want to heal you.
Yeah, yes, there is a difference.
Healed, if you're not healed, you're still not there. You know, you're carrying things with you that you shouldn't be bringing over here because you left that over there.
Mm-hmm.
So leave that over there.
Keep it over
Deal,
there.
deal with that over there. And, once you're done dealing with that, then you come out.
Yes.
Then you come out because now you're ready to be committed to someone and give them your all. If you're not at your all,
Right.
give somebody your all. So
Mm-hmm.
you're basically giving somebody half of you. And when
Mm-hmm.
they tell you, I can't deal with half of you, I need all of you. I'm here. I'm here. No, you're not here.
You're not. You're not. It's so many people in denial. That's the thing.
That's one of those things. So I guess yeah, with the toxic positivity, yeah, I guess it is a thing, but nobody wants half of you when they give you all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a problem in itself.
All right. So, Grustin, I'm gonna I've been like I said before, I'm looking forward to doing this segment with you. But before we get to that, and before we close out this conversation, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, man, I just want everybody to be happy. Focus on your happiness. If you're happy and I'm happy, there's no way we could be bad together. We both happy.
Mm,
You can't come to a relationship unhappy and expect somebody to give you temporary happiness. Because
mm,
when you do find yourself, that man or woman won't be the person that you want to be with. That's that reason or season.
duly noted. So,
Hmm.
so Grustin, we never got this to play this last time, and like I said, I'm looking forward to doing this with you. So we're gonna do a little this or that.
Okay.
Here they come, yo. Here they come.
This or that. Yes, yes. So yes, I'm looking forward. This is my first time doing this with my cousin. So I'm going to come up with something two random things, and you can't plead the fifth. You can't choose both. You have to choose one or the other. This or that. And also, Grustin, let me know. It's very important. Let me know if you're not familiar with both things. Let me know so I can change it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Fight the Power by Public Enemy or Self Destruction by BDP.
Hmm. This and that.
See, I
You only can choose one, but
see, look at
I like Fight the Power, but I think you said self-destruction, right?
yes.
I think they had more to say. They were more to the people than Fight the Power. Because people didn't really understand Public Enemy and where they were coming from. So I would have to go with
Okay.
the first one.
Uh, no, you said self destruction or
Self-destruction.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Fair enough. MC Light or Queen Latifah?
I always loved Queen Latifah, but as coming up, I came up with both of them, so I'm gonna go MC Light. She just made more songs that appealed to me at the time.
I got you. Duly noted. Macaroni salad or macaroni and cheese?
Depends on who's making the macaroni and salad, so and the macaroni and cheese. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go with the macaroni and cheese.
See, mango or pineapple?
Pineapple.
Okay. Um, This is like I hope that you're familiar with both songs here. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back a little bit. Murder She Wrote by Shaka Demon Supplies,
Hmm.
Fire, or Action by Terra Fabulous.
I'm going action. Action. I think I'm going with we. Yeah, I'm going action. I'm going action.
Okay, now Pharrell or Masego. Are you familiar with Masego?
No.
Okay, I'll change it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it this way. Um, Cool and Dre or the Neptunes.
I'm gonna go Neptunes.
Okay, Tiana Taylor or Khalees.
Tiana Taylor.
Okay, I love Khalees. I love them both, but I love me some Khalees. I don't know that guy.
But if I'm thinking about my time with Tiana Taylor and my time with Khalees, I'm going to go Tiana Taylor.
This is your choices. These are your choices. Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna spend more time with you on this one. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Like, I'm gonna try to make this. I'm trying to make this good. When it comes to, I'm gonna be fresh right now. When it comes to toppings in an intimate setting, would you use whipped cream or emotional lotion?
I don't really like to be all that sticky, but I guess it was cream.
Are you a breast man or a butt man?
Uh, I guess, but I don't know. But I guess,
But
yeah.
okay, so empire or power?
I'm going with power.
I figured that. Okay, Goodfellas or Scarface?
That's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a great. I'm gonna go Goodfellas.
Okay, that's one of my favorite movies too. And I have a confession to make. I never watched Scarface.
For real?
I never saw it. I guess I have to. I never saw it.
Classic.
Yeah, I know. And speaking of that, Al Pacino or Robert De Niro?
Mm. Well, since I went with Goodfellas, I'm gonna go Robert De Niro.
Okay, and so because I really want to stick you good. I like to stick people. I really like to just get. I like to get them. I really want. I want to get you. I'm really trying to get you. Okay, all right. So, Neo or Dallas Austin?
Ooh, I'm gonna go Dallas.
Okay. All right. So, where'd you go? Oh, B Street or Crush Groove?
I'm going B Street. Hands down.
Okay. Okay. Now, I don't know, like if you were a fan of cartoons like that, but the Thundercats or Silverhawks?
I would go Thundercats because I don't even know who Silverhawks is.
All right. So I'm glad you told me. So let me change it. Um, the Smurfs or the Snorks? You know, remember the one with they used to be underwater like this with the little tentacles like that?
Yeah, I would have to go to Smurfs.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Rambo or Raging Bull?
Rambo.
The Knicks or the Bulls?
Knicks. All day.
Thank you so much. I just looking forward to this, cuz. Oh my God, because I was like, I have to do this with him. Because since I started these segments, you wasn't, you wasn't, privy to that. Because I wasn't there yet. I wasn't on that level yet. But now I'm like, yes, I'm able to do it now with my cuz. Yes, that was fun. I had fun with you on that one, cuz.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have two final questions before we wrap up. But before we do that, I just wanted to just make sure that I always want to give you my gratitude and thank you for just being a part of this journey and being a part of my life. And we always had deep, in-depth discussions about things, especially when it comes to my upbringing, when it comes to my growing up and just where I am right now, and relationship with my son. We always had those conversations, and you always maintain a neutral a neutral aspect. But I just really am proud of where you are. I'm proud of who you are as an individual. So I just want to make sure that I gave you your flowers, that you deserve. Just like how much I appreciate you. Yeah. All right. So I just want to make sure I put that out there. Yeah. Yeah. So now, so these last two questions, and before we wrap up. So if you had the opportunity to have five people at the CDA table, dead or alive, who would they be and why? And I need the why for each person.
Hmm. I guess one would be my grandmother because she died right before I was born, so I never really got to talk to her.
Is that most Aunt Marcy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my grandfather because he was always there. I spent a lot of time with him. Um, my cousin Dennis.
Ah, baby,
My cousin Dennis. I wish, yes,
mhm.
Dennis.
Why Dennis?
Because Dennis was always like, you know what I'm saying, the big cousin. He always told me right from wrong, and at the end, he was going through a lot.
Mm,
I wasn't there. I wish I was, but I wasn't. Um, three. There's so many. Jeffrey.
mm.
He always used to come around and hang out with me and Aaron. That was another big cousin.
Uh,
And who else?
no one alive? No one, no live person?
Well, I mean, all of them, the people that's alive, I talk to them all the time. So, I mean,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah, I'm just thinking about the people that I can't talk
Yeah,
to.
just about anybody. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my other grandmother, my father's mother.
Mm-hmm.
So I could talk to her, and we spent time with her though, but she died, I probably was about 10. So
Mm. Okay.
that's it.
Okay. So now who would get the big piece of chicken and why?
I don't know. They would have to figure that out.
It's your decision.
It's a table. Everybody feast on what you want. There's,
And, and just answer it. Just answer the question. Who would get the big piece of chicken and why?
I don't know. I don't know because
I think this more than it has to be.
Dennis used to eat. He used to eat. I guess by my grandfather being the head of the family, I guess it would have to be his.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Fair. Fair enough. And so this last question, Gresten, I take from the late James Lipton from inside the actor studio. So, Gresten Weeks, when you enter into the pearly gates, what would you want God to say?
We needed you here. You did an amazing job down there. We needed you.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, and thank you so much because we need you here too. So don't leave us anytime soon. So, like I said before, this has been a time, and I'm hope to have this again with you. And like I said, I am really grateful for this full circle moment with you. I really do appreciate you. And so, you have any final words for us?
Thank you. Thank you. Tune into the show.
Yes, comment, and share, subscribe. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you give it up for my cousin Gresten Weeks. Gresten Weeks. God bless you, sir. Love you down.
Love you too, Cons.
All righty. Stay behind for me until I'm done, all right?
Okay.
All right. So Gresten Weeks, Shaw, that was my cuz, that was a full circle moment. And it was great to have that moment because at first, initially, when I first started, I really wanted my mom to be my first one, but she was my second. So, hey, so there was my top tier people that I wanted to kind of get the ball rolling when it came to that interviewing, my primary content being interviews. So I really am grateful to have Gresten to kind of set the tone for how I do this thing here now. So it's always a pleasure to have him on. And the way that we spoke on on here on this apparatus is the same way that we talk, on behind the scenes. And so it's always a time with us. Sometimes we'll be on the phone to 2 to 3 hours until I have to, tell him like, look, I'm tired of talking. Like, I'm tired of talking to you right now. So I'm ready to lay down. I'm ready to go to sleep. So, but it's always a time with him. And he's, I don't know. He is truly aware of the type of calling that he has that he hasn't tapped into yet. And I'm going to talk about that with him a little bit more. But I don't know if he's really tapped into that true calling that he has, by the way. So yeah, so I think somebody may know what I'm talking about. But in the meantime, I'm going to come right back on a little bit later because I have an event that I'm going to where I'm going to be doing some media coverage on. It's going to be a movie premiere event for the movie Tit for Tat 2. So make sure you catch up and watch Tit for Tat 1 so you can see what you look forward to in the second part. So I'm going to be back on to document that on my vlog. So make sure you tune into that. But in the meantime, let me make sure that you do what Calvin Michael says, and
like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, you gotta like, share, and subscribe.
Ooh, I like that.
You like the content,
Yeah,
share,
I
and
like that.
subscribe. Oh,
Yeah.
you got to like, share, and subscribe.
have a good one.